Hello again. We're here August 22nd, Sunday. Tropical storm Henry Henri is on his way. Made landfall, and we're starting to get the rain and a little bit of the wind. And right now we're just kind of looking through, seeing how we're going to hold up. We've got sheathing on the whole house at this point, but obviously every opening is wide open. And it looks like we're accumulating some drips already. Looks like most of this is blowing through windows and doors, and that's what I'd expect for the most part right now. We can also kind of identify where it's all running to, and that's something that we're working on. The posts for the basement are made. I think they're right out here, but they are not yet installed. Yeah, they're still sitting here. So those are not your typical alley column. They are 6-inch Schedule 40 with 3/16 plates on either end, all welded up, special to go. One of them sits right under here. Another one sits right under that post. They're in alignment here. There's one that sits, right about there underneath, and one that sits where are you seeing this puddle form. So and then there's another one that sits way out under here, basically into the family room, just on the other side of this wall. So they need to go in place, and I think that will help pick up the floor where it's clearly low in the middle here. So we're looking to do that hopefully very soon. Until then, we're going to continue to accumulate some water. The subfloor is made for water like this, but this has been a lot of water that we've taken on, and now a hurricane is coming, so we don't expect to be able to really dry it out until Wednesday at the earliest. So we'll have to take a look at it Wednesday. What we did do was cut away some of the plates. We're happy with the locations. And it's kind of funky. You see there's quite a big gap in here. So I don't know exactly what we got to do there, but we got to do something to pad it out and straighten that out. That's not exactly how it's supposed to be. It will allow us to get some of this water out. But really, right now, it would just kind of go down into the basement, which is gross. We've got to straighten that out. I'm hoping that this whole wall isn't pushed out as far as that. That one is much better. There is a gap there, but that's actually the rim joist right there that we can see, and the plywood is flush to it. So that's actually how it's supposed to be, and that's good. And we've got this one cut away as well. So at least at this point, when water accumulates in here, we have somewhere to push it. Same thing here. We've got a little gap. Maybe we'll even just notch this out so that we're not riding on the tongue and groove and have this awkward gap for stuff to collect. I don't know exactly how that normally gets dealt with, but figure it out. Anyway, we can push water back out now, which is important and will be helpful. All of our bracing's gone down here as well. The windows have been moved. I have not personally checked locations, but I'm told that the locations have been checked. So that is good. I probably will take a tape measure out when it's not pouring and threatening a hurricane. In the family room, some stuff has happened. So we've got a roof. It's sloping right now. Liz and I are still talking about if we want this to slope or not. We're leaning towards not, because I think what we prefer to have happen is just hang a 2x6 on the plate right next to these joists for the ceiling, and then we can just plate it off. It only goes up, as you can see over here. Those cripples are maybe a not quite a foot tall. And there's no cripples on this side. So it's essentially as flat as you can get away with by code. And then it'll be a whole rubber roof system. It's actually two systems on top of one another. We're doubling it up. And then that difference, the height difference over here, is visible. Like this is all sloped from the outside right now. But when we're done, there'll be a little extra wall, almost like a curb, that gets put on this side, and then this side is leveled off as well. So it will, it'll get done from the outside after the fact, so that from the outside it all looks totally flat. It's how they do buildings in downtowns, where you just got a flat looking roof. It's really not exactly flat. So these windows and doors have not been moved. Their priority has been to get sheathing on and get it relatively watertight, all taped off here. So zip tape is holding for water for right now. And really, again, all I'm seeing here is the blow in from the windows. This will get less because of kind of where it's located on the house, but also that we've got most of these openings still covered up, at least partially, with the plywood. Plywood, speaking of plywood, it has been addressed, all the places that didn't get plywood that were supposed to. That got corrected, and that's great. We got, next week when they come in, they'll be putting the window frame in here for the original window that we're gonna put right back in place where it wants to be. And then they're gonna frame out for this door, which I've gotta find in the basement and make sure that it's gonna get made the right size. For now, we're saying just make it the same size as that door down there, and it may need to get padded in. Same thing for the window. The window may need to get padded in a little bit. Bigger is okay. Bigger is not going to be as big an issue as making it not big enough. Our plants are kind of moist. I don't want them getting dripped on. You've got a drip coming from the second floor, so let's go check that out. Oh, a couple of other things. We are, of course, cutting these away. We talked about how we're going to transition this. This stud right here is getting ripped off so that we can keep this clean, so that the drywall here will just return. It won't have an extra bump out like a framed door opening. Same thing over here. This stud is going to be essentially like the wall that turns and runs for the hallway wall. So this stud won't exist, and it'll just return into this hallway. So basically what you're seeing there to there is the width of the front hall. And the other thing that we decided on was that this wall here is going to be there, but under the structure. So basically they're gonna have another stringer that they'll place here right on top of the stud wall and run it all the way up, and these stair treads will extend out kind of through the wall or to the edge of the wall out here. So the staircase is getting a little wider, but effectively not going to really be any wider because we need to put the railing somewhere, and the railing is going to go kind of where the wall is on that edge. Transitioning it, how do we, work our way around what's going on up top here is another whole conversation that we're not certain about. So we're going to have to figure that out along the way. We're leaning on the architects to make sure we can get a handrail without a whole bunch of funkiness going on. We talked a little bit about letting it die into the ceiling, but that's not really how it had been, and it's also awkward. It would require some other railing solution on this side or at the top of this, and really we just want it to go up, wrap around, and go up again like it did. So coming upstairs, we can see that there are a few places that the water is finding its way in, but for the most part, it's pretty dry. Again, it's going to blow in on the north side here. We expect this. These windows are going to let water in, especially with the hurricane coming. So no surprise there. Everything's pretty much buttoned up on the second floor as well. Partition walls notwithstanding. They put some blocking in here to cover up this plywood, which I don't love because that just means I get less insulation in there. It's kind of a crappy way to do it, actually. Feels like a hide it kind of thing. I'm gonna have them take that out. That's not an acceptable solution. You know, we could just run a straight line and a skill saw right across there and patch in a 1 foot section of plywood just as easy, you know, like a gap like that. It's all gonna get a skinned membrane on the outside. That's blue skin stuff. I think we can see right here. So yeah, we still got this massive gap. I just don't want the blue skin having a massive gap like that, and essentially it still does. We poke it, it's open. So here we are looking at the zip. This all looks good. It's holding water and everything, but again, we're getting none of the little Z dimples in this tape. So to me, that says it didn't get rolled properly, or if it got rolled, it didn't get rolled with the right implement that is supposed to be doing the job. It says right on the tape, roll this tape. I think it's not coming into focus for you. Roll this tape. So somebody's gonna roll the tape before we're done here. But this is the ever so slightly sloped flat roof. This is, we're in Ollie's room. This is where I will be stepping out to shovel it if we get crazy crazy snowstorms or anything like that. But this side will have a little wall about 1 foot tall, and it'll be like a wedge shaped there, and it'll have, you know, just be probably a 2x4 plate or something here. And there'll be, I think, 4 posts and 4 posts and 4 posts, and then this little like lattice, almost like a railing, like a stair railing, all along that. These are all good. These are just kind of like safety measures, I think. Although we don't have them everywhere yet. They're coming. They did the strapping for the ceiling. That's pretty good. That's a New England specific thing. I realize that doesn't happen everywhere, but that's very standard in New England. Let's go see where these drips are coming from the interior. My guess is this is on either side of that dormer on the 3rd floor. And that's the one spot that didn't actually get the full zip system yet. It's just an initial, well, we'll take a look. So this, yeah, and this is where the water's coming in somewhere. I don't know exactly. Maybe it's just blowing in through this opening and pooling here. That kind of looks like it's dripping. No, it's dripping through too. So, but there's a lot going on up here. This is kind of primary workspace right now. You can see some daylight up there, and that's kind of collect the puddle there, along with the window opening. But you can see that we have one of the barriers here, and still the light isn't helping, but a very saggy Tyvek here. And what we've decided to do is we're going to be sliding a baffle, kind of an egg crate kind of baffle behind this that'll allow the air to move easily and freely, and prevent it from crushing against the dense pack insulation. So it's pretty much what I expected. Well, you can see this one totally just stuck to the sheathing here, so like that's the kind of thing we can't have. But from the eaves and from the ridge, you know, that board can be popped off. We can shove them up, and they're not going to do any more of this Intello, I think, until we've solved that problem. Because here they're going to have to cut some of this away. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. But I'm going to confirm that every one of these bays has that baffle in it before we move on from this phase. So I'm hoping that this material was not wasted, because they got ahead of my GC again. He was on vacay and they were doing stuff before he could kind of confirm that it was good. So you got the blue skin on the outside here. That is good to see. So that helps them tie it in from the outside eventually. It's our air and water, bulk water barrier on the outside. And these are closets. This is going to be, I think this side is going to be Will. And yeah, pretty good sized closet. Since they're boy closets, you know, they're not full height, so like long dresses and stuff wouldn't work necessarily, but the boys won't complain much. This will be potential mechanical space, but probable just dead space. We could poke stuff in here because this is all getting insulated, and all of these cavities are getting insulated. The ceiling and the walls are getting insulated regardless, so it's actually going to be a warm space. So it could be good storage, bulk storage, and all of these studs are still 2 feet on center. So it could be a good size access in here somewhere. Looks like that's probably the best opportunity for access because these doors will be right here too. Same thing on the other side. We're seeing some drips right here coming from a seam in the OSB above. And we get the same deal on this side. And again, good access right here through one of these doors if we wanted storage behind there as well. Looks like those will not be mechanical spaces. And there will be a wall going right about, I think, where I'm standing. It basically should be symmetrical. So this window will have, I think, about 8 feet of wall space here, maybe 7. I think it's about 16 wide, so it should be nearly 8 and nearly 8. So 1, 2, 3, and a little. 1, 2, 3. So right about here, where it starts interfering with my head, is where this wall will go. Hope you can hear me with all the noise. Got a wall going here, yeah, and then running all the way down here, stopping at this wall, and then the wall will be there. So the mechanical space from this side to that side is connected. And this is, I think, where they're going to stick an air handler or not sure what else. For this floor, for the 3rd floor, and for the 2nd floor. And the question is just, how do we get heat and cooling into the bathroom up here? That's the biggest question mark, is getting stuff onto that side. And it might come from all the way from the basement if we have to go there, but yeah, we're in pretty good shape. All these little cheek walls are tied in, closed up. I don't see blue skin on this, so I don't love that. Should be some here closing things up there, but we'll continue to stay on top of it. I'll give you the update on what's going on with the Tyvek. No Tyvek up here. That'll be a quick video to follow.